Today's video is about orbs, the orb phenomena. And the reason is quite simple. It's orb season again. So I enclosed a short clip. It's not filmed professionally, but it's enclosed shortly before the end of this video if you want to watch it. And I would like to reflect with you and with your comments on the orb phenomena. So we have orbs documented all throughout history in every culture. And since we have iPhones and phones and other devices in the modern times, we of course have them a lot in social media, but we also have a lot of military disclosure on viewings of orbs. And for me, the question is, what do they actually do? Why they are there? What is it? What is the orb? And for me, the most important, what does it do to the viewer? So for me, for example, I saw orbs all over the world in different locations, and I couldn't say there was any special emotional reaction from my side besides just watching them. But for me also, I can step back and I can just look at something, and I don't have to own it, and I don't have to give it a name immediately, and I don't believe it's there because of me. So that maybe helps a little bit, I don't know. But it seems that in these times, more and more people document orbs in different locations around the world. As I found out, mostly on Earth energy grids, but you also have them in backyards, and you have them in military facilities, and basically on camping grounds. You have them everywhere. And as I studied the encounters, the experiences described, there was something that I found quite unusual. Most people were touched emotionally. So they described sometimes a little shock because of just the sheer phenomena itself. And then after the following days or after a while, kind of mind expansion. And I'm personally not sure. I'm keen to know what you think about it. If it's just the sheer fact that there is something we cannot render or we don't have in our initial awareness program that shows up as orbs. So the simple fact of looking at that and acknowledging it, that this opens up our worldview, the way we think about things, and if this allows us to think about different life forms or entities, or if it is the frequency or the energy from the orb itself. So that's one question, for example, I have with regards to the orbs. The other thing is that I found out that a lot of people see them shortly before they die, and they're also seen in the room, but they seem also to show up after somebody left his body in the room. So there seemed to be kind of a connection to the passageway, or probably a dimensional gate or frequency change that happens in the moment when we leave our bodies, or that the fact that we change a frequency through our leaving of the body opens up something for them, and especially appear in connection to that moment. The other, I would say, fact I found out during my research was that people who do have already UAP sightings in their lives, or moments they could not really explain, seem to be more often included in the sites of orbs. Sometimes it seems to carry on through the family, like when they describe that they saw something to the family member, suddenly the mother or grandmother or grandpa shows up and says, well, I saw the same. So maybe there is something that is tracing them to their DNA, or something just that's connected to the bloodline. That could also be. And the other thing is that, well, if you see some of the UAP disclosure files, which I personally don't find too exciting because it's too much redacted and it's nothing we haven't already seen before. You have the orbs appearing on at the same moment with other aerial phenomena like UAPs, or however you want to call it. So also for me, there is the question, do they flank them? Do they belong to the actual UAP? Or is it again just a dimensional or frequency shift that allows them to be seen? I think that's a very interesting question, because that leads us to the thought that maybe we don't see a lot of things just because we are kind of frequency locked in a dimension. That could be, or we just don't have the capabilities to constantly view into different frequencies. That could also be. When we go a little further into the personal experience of the people who see these orbs, for me it's very interesting that there seem to be an interaction. So sometimes the person reports that the orb was felt first. For example, somebody is in the bedroom and is already sleeping and doesn't necessarily see a light through the closed curtains, but has the feeling of light. I found this super interesting. Not a bright light, but because we know that from all the movies, but the feeling of light into the room, or some change of energy, which makes them go outside in the garden or look out of the window and they see the orbs. As far as I recall, there was one description by Whitley Strieber where there was like a constellation of orbs described, like not only one, but several in a kind of geometric layout with a center orb. And they seemed to shift the surrounding orbs up and down, and then finally they disappeared into the main orb. Who knows, maybe they interact with a pattern, with an energy pattern we cannot really see, and they glide along lines. Could be. And in order to disappear, they have to flip back into the main orbit who can carry them. Could be, just an idea. And they also seem to react to some viewers. For example, when somebody really is staring at them and locking into the moment, that they come closer, or suddenly they do different movements. I saw some interviews with Ross Carter, the persons he interviewed who were watching the orbs. They were kind of describing that they did try to film them, but the orbs moved in a way really in awareness to avoid the camera or a certain light to be caught on the device. So I asked myself, what is the difference when a person like me films them, or somebody who has the big gear to film them? Is there something they don't want to show these orbs? So when you have a different equipment, that you see different things, that it is maybe not an orb at all, that is just a replacement for something we can see. And when we change the camera, that we see actually what is in the orb, or the actual structure of this phenomenon could be. This I found interesting. And also the description that when people lose somebody they really love, that sometimes there is an orb phenomena in the room after the person passed, who is interacting with the person that is grieving. And It is described sometimes as, could it be the soul or the awareness of the person that left their body? But I don't really think that. For me, it's more the idea that it's maybe kind of a regulating component that kicks in, or something that overviews the process, because there is not this love or high frequency moment people describe, for example, when they have the idea that there is an entity or something that is really connected to the person who died. So you don't have that with orbs. So people say, okay, they are there. There is never the moment where they say, oh, there was this big energy or this big love. You have this sometimes with UAPs or with other phenomena, but you don't have that with the orbs, which I think could lead to the idea that an orb is more a semi-biological or technological entity, but not really attuned to human frequency or something that we feel as connecting, positive, and opening. If we have all these orbs that are popping up and they're disappearing, and obviously they are aware of the viewers, why do they want to be seen? So what is in for them? What is the idea? Is it transmission that is happening? Who knows? Is it the sheer moment that we see something that does not fit our framework they want to initiate? Is it a precursor to other phenomena, like a testing sequence that is installed to see how the human mind reacts? These are all the thoughts that I have when I think about the orb phenomena. This being said, I would be happy to hear from you. What do you think about that? And I enclosed my little video. Forgive me, it's not super professional. I think you can see the movements. They're a little bit weird, and you have an idea, and that's what I can contribute to this subject. If you like this content, if you like my videos, please like them and subscribe, and I see you in the next one.